Hosea. Dear friends, welcome to another video from Bible Stories. Today, we are entering the 28th book of the Holy Bible, Hosea. Hosea is a prophet who lived in Israel about 50 years before the Israelites went into exile to Assyria. The Bible does not mention any other family background other than his father being Beori. Hosea made his prophecies during the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam II, the son of Joash, the king of Israel. As a result of the sin of King Solomon of Israel, the kingdom of Israel was divided into two after Solomon's death. Out of the 12 tribes, God gave only 2 tribes to Solomon's son Rehoboam, and the remaining 10 tribes were taken from Solomon and given to Jeroboam son of Nebat. But Jeroboam turned away from God and made idols, sinning himself and causing Israel to sin. All the kings after Jeroboam followed Jeroboam's path. Thus, Hosea was the prophet commissioned to reveal the heart of the Lord their God and husband to Israel, who had become accustomed to spiritual adultery. Isaiah, Jonah, Micah, and Amos were prophets who were given different missions during the same time period as Hosea. With this brief introduction, let's move on to the book of Hosea. Hosea's prophecies were primarily directed to the northern land of Israel. God loved Israel, who fell into slavery in Egypt after the time of Joseph. Even when they were oppressed, God increased them greatly. God carried Israel in his arms like a father carrying his child. God taught them to walk. God broke the yoke that was upon them. He gave them food. God wanted to keep them close to him with bonds of love, but Israel walked away whenever God called them. They kept sacrificing to Baals and burning offerings to idols. Israel became stubborn like a stubborn heifer. Their deeds did not allow them to return to their God. They were filled with the spirit of prostitution. Hosea was a prophet chosen by God at a time when their spiritual idolatry had gotten worse, to make Israel realize their sin. More than Hosea's words, it was Hosea's life that God used. So the Lord began to speak through Hosea at a time when the land of Israel had committed great adultery by forsaking the Lord. All Hosea received from the Lord were commandments. First, the Lord commanded Hosea to go and get a wife who was adulterous, and to have children of adultery. He complied and married Diblaim's daughter Gomer. They had a girl and 2 boys. The names given to these children foretold the judgment God was about to bring upon Israel. God said that he would break Israel's bow and that they would not have mercy, and they were not his people. However, God did not have the heart to abandon them completely. God loved Israel with his everlasting love. Even though Israel continued to commit adultery and walk in sin, God wanted them to return to him. Symbolic of this, Hosea's beloved wife went after her lover again. Even then, God did not allow Hosea to abandon her. Even when she gave the wealth that he had given her to her lovers, God commanded him to love her again and buy her back with a price. And so he did. In the same way, God redeemed us by paying the price of his son's life. God knew that there was no other Savior to save Israel and the rest of humanity. He loved us enough to restrain his fierce anger against sinful man and give the ransom price of his son's life. Throughout the book of Hosea, God reveals the reasons for the judgment he is about to execute on Israel, while also desiring their return and revealing the way for their salvation. May none of us ever have a sinful heart of unbelief that tramples on the Son of God who made that salvation possible for us today, or one that treats the blood of the covenant as unholy and thus turns away from the living God. God bless you.